What's going on, everybody? Thanks for clicking on this video. As the title says, I really want to talk about what to do when you're in a situation where a group of people, for whatever reason, are intimidated by you simply because you're being you. Now, I'll be fully transparent here. I thought that this was a experience that was semi-unique to me. I understand that other people may have it, but I didn't think that it was happening as frequently as it was until during a training session the other day. It came out, and it led to a pretty lively discussion within my group that this happens a lot. And I don't want to make these videos alienate anyone of any particular race, but I've seen people of color unite around the fact that this has happened to them. Now, I try very hard to live in a world where I don't see color. And I try to do that because I don't want to put myself in any type of box that limits my potential. I want to always maintain a state of unlimited potential. And I don't believe that placing myself in categories of, or I'm this color, so I need to be aware of these things. I don't think that that's helpful to that. That doesn't discard or any conflicts that people of my particular color have experienced in past times. But I understand that any history that we can think or speak of is recent history because our souls are eternal. And I don't want to lose that in having these discussions, because I think that that perspective allows you to not assign as much pain to yourself when you're talking about these things. So dealing with a situation where a group of people is intimidated simply because you're being you, and their intimidation, their lack of confidence in who they are, causes them to treat you a certain way. Now, I want to preface this by first giving context to this, because I understand that some people can be performing acts that are intimidating to others, and that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. If you walk into a situation and try to ascertain some type of power through manipulation tactics or whatever the case may be, it's likely that people would find you intimidating, because that's what your actions are trying to do. This isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you are just you. You're just you. And maybe you're a really friendly person, extroverted, whatever. Maybe you're introverted, but you're just you. You dress the way that you dress because it makes you feel good, and it allows you to have the energy to get up and do the things that you need to do. You speak the way that you do because this is the way that you've determined is the best way to convey the messages that you wish to convey. You treat people the way that you deem to be respectful, the way that you deem to be professional, and you expect the same. But simply in the course of you going about your day-to-day of just trying to be the best you that you can be, you encounter people who, for a number of reasons, simply take a look at you and create or assign a judgment to you, and then begin to act accordingly towards you. And then in groups, I've seen it where especially in workplace situations, people will meet and talk about you, talk about the assumptions that they have, but never come to you directly to actually clear up anything. So now you have an entire group that's treating you a certain way, that makes you uncomfortable simply because they're intimidated by you and they don't have enough confidence in themselves to realize that it's just them. When I've encountered this situation, what I tried to do, because I realized that they were indirectly attacking me at every chance, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I came here trying to be helpful. Why am I getting attacked like this? So I'm thinking, oh, they just don't know love, or they don't know who they are. Let me go ahead and, through their indirect means, show them. Let me see if there's something that I can introduce into this environment to change this energy a bit. And I understand that I may have been going a bit beyond, but it it threw me off so much because of the fact that I wasn't judging anybody. I didn't even view the role or the position as one that was serious enough for for me to have that kind of reaction in there. I came in wanting to, just be me and hopefully actually be able to build some solid connections. So I understand that intimidation wasn't my goal. And I also understand that things like being overweight was extremely depressing to me. So losing weight was critical. And I understand that having lost the weight and continuing to lose weight within my life it makes me feel good. So when I see people now who are a bit overweight, I don't fat shame anyone, but I'll talk to them about it and I'll share, hey, I've lost over 140 something pounds at this point. And I've done it in a variety of different healthy ways when I've hit different plateaus. And I'll explain like, hey, changed a lot. There was a lot that I wasn't ready for. When people just see you and they don't know where you're coming from, there was a lot I wasn't ready for, but it's changed a lot. It's given me a lot of confidence in myself to just feel happy to just be me. Feel happy to just wake up and live this life that I've chosen to embody here in this time within this material realm. And in this particular situation, I learned the lesson that I talk about in a lot of my videos about just allowing people to vibrate wherever they vibrate at. And in your effort to show love, don't you don't want to put someone in a position where they feel like you're talking down to them because of the things that they see that you've done. Even if the things that you have accomplished in your life, they don't seem like that much to you. Even if it doesn't necessarily seem like, because where you're trying to go, right? And you understand that where you're trying to go is much farther than where it is that you've already gone. So for you, you're talking about things and it's like, oh, well, this is no big deal. This is something that was just necessary to overcome on the road to where it is that I'm going. And you see people and you want to love everybody, so you freely give this information. It's not like it's behind some type of paywall or anything like that. You freely want to talk about your experiences. You freely want to talk about the traumas that you've overcome. You freely want to talk about the gift of love, the gift of grace, the gift of the ability to be divine and overcome any potential human limitation that we see for ourselves, which is the definition of divinity, right? We all have that within us. And whenever you tap into that and direct it towards something that you actually want, you want to share that, especially if you can clearly see that it will help people. But in a situation where you're dealing with people who are already intimidated simply by the fact that you're you, that's not something that you can necessarily do. It's in those situations where you come to a conclusion that if you want to share your message, you need to find a new medium. because the people around you are more likely to take you down for trying to help them than they are to see the message that you're trying to send them. And it's wild as hell that that's like that. It's wild. But unfortunately, a lot of programming is deep. And sometimes, especially when you're dealing with groups of people who think and feel similarly, check out some of my videos where I talk about the topic of pendulums. And I will do a deep dive on pendulums. We'll do a deep dives on entities like angels and demons and all of that, because I believe that that's all connected. So when you're dealing with groups of people, you're not just dealing with a soul inhabiting a body. You're dealing with a conscious entity that has sway over all of these souls. And you, being an individual, are not going to just still the sway in relation to all of the other souls. You understand what I'm saying? You as an individual are not going to just stop the pendulum from swinging in relation to the other souls. You can still the motion of a pendulum in relation to yourself, meaning you can change your reality so that the pendulum no longer impacts you, i.e., you can find a new place of employment, you can find a new career path, you may get forced out, because that's what happens a lot of the time if you're that person. You can still the swing of the pendulum in relation to you, not in relation to all the other souls. So if you push your experiences, the things that you've overcome, in a manner of trying to build them up, but they see you as intimidating, so everything that you do, condescending or not, in my case it wasn't, anything that you do in an effort to even be respectful, in an effort to try to big someone up, is seen in a negative light. It's twisted. You give someone a compliment and suddenly it means more, even if that's not the case. You smile wrong and it means something that it doesn't. In those situations, the best thing to do is to understand that this could be the universe telling you that it's time to find a new medium, because best believe if you have the urge to share your message, there's someone out there who needs to hear it. There's someone out there whose light will shine brighter as a result of encountering your spark. And if you find yourself surrounded by a group of people who are all intimidated by you, perhaps you're in the wrong group. Perhaps you are. And with an understanding that you're not about to change their minds. They're more likely to destroy your life than you are to change their minds. Best thing that you can do is redirect all that love that you were trying to send to them by just being you. Give it to yourself and follow the urge of the spirit to whatever medium feels right for you. Maybe you're called to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you're called to build a community within your city. Maybe you're called to start a business. Maybe you're called to move to a different foreign location. It can be a number of things. Source can create an infinite amount of things through you. Maybe you're called to write a book, create some music. So many of us are artists and we don't know it, and we're trapped in these mundane positions dealing with these entities that drain our energy and keep us from thinking that we could be more. And it's our art that the world is hungry for. It's that purity in knowing that somebody had a direct link to source and was a full channel, a medium for source to just work through them. And when you see that in their art, it takes you to a different dimension, whether that art is actual paintings, music, whether it's architecture, it can be anything. That's the beauty of who we are. That's the beauty of our divinity. Don't take being in a situation where a group of people are intimidated by you as some type of failure against you, as some type of slight or something that means that you haven't come as far as you actually have. Because the fact that you were in that situation, the fact that you recognize it, and the fact that you didn't lash out shows how far you've come, shows how much you've overcome. And it doesn't matter what state someone else chooses to vibrate at. What matters is whether or not you're going to let some external force change your state. Whether or not you're going to bow before pressure and succumb to being less than who you are so that you can fit in within a certain entity. Or whether or not you're going to step up, walk across the bridge that's presenting itself to you, allow yourself to see the doors that are open for you, and begin to change your life so that your light can touch other souls around you. You want to help people? Help yourself. I love you. I want to see the fullest expression of you. This is just a spark.